Hello everyone, this is the 14th learning material in the lecture series of Programming in C language. This is our third module. Getting started, and subsection that we will be discussing is basic input and output functions. Let's begin with the module. Let's start the learning from the basic output functions in the C languages. Output is the data that is given or displayed by the machine to the user. Usually in case of any programming language, the output it displays at the necessary answer and we use the screen as the standard output device. Historically, this process is regarded as the printing process and command that is explained to the machine is to display the output as it is written in the codes. Output can be formatted as well as manipulated by using the different memory locations, flags and data types. It is important to make sure what we want to display on the screen and what we are actually calling. Traditional first ever programming in C language or in any other programming language is the Hello World program. We have already written that program in the previous learning material while handling the IDE. Hence we will do few different variant of the output functions. In C language, printf is the standard output function. Syntax is as follows. Printf inside the double quotes text that you want to display. Printf inside the double quotes percent data type flag, comma identifier. Printf inside the double quote text that you want percent data type flag text of choice, comma identifier. Input is the data that is given or entered by the user to the machine. Usually in case of any programming language, the input is saved in the temporary memory location for the specific time, usually only until the program is running. Historically, this process is regarded as the scanning process and command that is explained to the machine is to save the input at defined locations. It is very important to remember the sequence of the memory locations as well as the data types of the inputs that we want to save in those places. According to the same sequence, it is necessary to scan or to enter the input in order to avoid the errors in program and mistakes in the calculation. There is not at all any standard program to explain the basic input functions in any programming language. In combination of input and output functions, it is possible to explain the basic input functions also. In C language, scanf is the standard input function. Syntax is as follows. Scanf inside the double quotes percent data type flag, comma ampersand the identifier. Scanf inside the double quotes percent data type flag, comma ampersand identifier 1, comma ampersand identifier 2. Interactive programming is one of the wonderful skills that can make the programmer stand out of the crowd. It means that the user should feel that the machine is interacting with user. It includes the formatting of the input-output functions in the human understandable way. Rule 1. In output statement, try to describe the output given by the machine neatly. For example, if a program's answer is a multiplication of two numbers, then the programs must display the entire statement describing the output as the multiplication of the given two numbers and then the answer. Before the input statement, describe what type of input is expected by the user. For example, if for a program we need two integers, then before taking the input, we must display a statement on the screen describing that we need the two integers so that the user can understand what type of data he is supposed to feed the machine. Now let's actually get the hands down on the programming. For this entire section, we will be following some common outline. In this activity, programmers have the freedom to choose any of the apps from the downloaded two apps. Depending on the app, there are two different outlines. For all the program that we will be discussing in these sections, the lines written in the red color will be the same and is necessary to write for each program. Only the black colored lines will be different as per the requirements. We have already discussed the syntax. That is, for output function is printf and similarly for the input function is scanf. Here, let's try to understand the use of output functions with the help of few examples. Let's see the first example where we have used the printf function only. Inside the double quotes, we have written the symbol star along with the escape sequence of new line, that is /n, in some sort of patterns. As we have already discussed that the C language also uses the line-to-line mode of output, hence each statement will be executed line by line. Output of this pattern is the letter E. Now with similar way, by using only the symbol star and the space bar in proper combination, let's print the digit 1 in numerical type. Here is the output of this program. Here, let's try to understand the use of symbol comma as the command separator in the C language. As we have printed the letter E and digit 1 in the same way, we will printing the letter S and the digit 4. But instead of occupying the new line for the single printf command, we will use the comma to separate the single commands. But as we have used the new line sequence, that is /n in the printf statement, hence when such command is executed, that sequence will work as the entry key to go to the new line. Hence the output will be same as the initial one. Next example is of the nested printf statement. Nested means in the nest, that is one statement inside of another statement. C language has a rule that in case of such statement, the innermost statement will be executed first and then the control will move outward. Output of this statement is little bit of different. First of all, the inner statement will be executed and hello is printed. Then we have used the data type identifier for the decimal integer data, that is %d, for printing. Hence the number of characters present in the word inside the double quotes will be printed. As the word hello have 5 characters, hence number 5 will be printed. Let's see the next one. We have initialized the integer type of location with name A, long integer with name D, and 2 float type of location with name B and C. Next command is to directly printing the content of the memory location A, in which we have nothing but anything yet. Output is some random numbers. Here we want to highlight the fact that each time whenever you will execute this program, you will get a different value because you already knew that a computer will itself choose the random memory location for the use, but for our simplicity we are giving the names to the locations. In next command we have put some values in the defined memory locations and then we will print them. Its output will look like this. Let's see another example of the formatted type of printf function. So we will start by initializing an integer type of location with the name capital A and put a value 12 in it. Then firstly we just use the normal printf and print the selected value. Then in the next command we will keep the rest of the command same, but just one change, that we will put the identifier in the single quotes and see the changes in the output. This value is not the selected one, but if you remember that ASCII table, then you will get the ASCII value for the capital A is 95. Hence any symbol, character or digit we put in the single quotes, then C will give its ASCII value. Now let's try to print the same stored value, that is 12, in different data types by changing the data type identifier. Hence the type %O will give octal value while the %X will give a hexadecimal value of 12. Here let's try to understand the use of input functions with the help of few examples. Let's see the first example where we have defined the integer type of memory location A. For the interactive type of programming, let's display a statement which will describe that what type of data that the user should be feeding to the computer. Then we have used the command of scanf. And in this command, whatever the computer will be accepting as the input is written in the double quotes and then separating with the comma, we have mentioned the location where that data has to be stored. The use of ampersand symbol is to describe that the data is to be stored at the location defined by the identifier A. Here we want to highlight that when scanf's command is executed, then the computer will wait for the user to enter the value and press the enter key to submit the input. Before entering the value, if someone press the enter key, then also the control will wait for the value to be entered. Let's display the contents present in the location A and check that whatever we have entered is present there or not. Let's see the next one. Here also we have defined two locations, one with integer and one with the float. In scanf we have defined the data type of the integer first and the float second. Here sequence is very much necessary. Hence we must specify to the user that he must be feed the data in the same sequence. Scanf can take number of inputs in single command at the same time. For that we need to use the spacebar between the two or more data type identifiers present in the double quotes, but we have to use separate commas for specifying the memory locations. Sequence plays an important role in the printf as well as scanf statements. Let's see another example to understand the importance of sequence in the printf statements. If we are handling the different type of data, then by mistakenly interchanged sequence can be notified as an error by the compiler itself because of data type mismatch. But in the case of same data type handling, such interchanges is not understood by the compiler and it is possible that mistakes can be made. Here we have used the two float type of data as per the choice of users. While displaying them, we have interchanged the sequence of the locations knowingly in order to produce an error. This interchange is unnoticed by the computer, which may lead to further mistakes in the calculation. Hence, the programmer must be very alert while programming. Let's see one more example. In this, we will be handling the characters and the strings. Here we have defined one memory location with the name ch as well as an array with the name str having the 100 memory locations. Initially, we have defined the character c by using single quotes in the memory location ch. Similarly, with the help of double quotes, we have defined a string character that is letter c in the array. Here, each character will occupy a single memory location out of the 100 given locations of the array. We will display these sections by using the printf command. As we have discussed before, that data type identifier for the single character is %c, whereas for the string is %s. Then after that, instead of using the predefined values, we will be taking the user-defined input by using the scanf statement and printf those by using the printf commands. Output of this is look like something. Use the apps and IDs to write and run the program discussed in this section. Here we have finished the hands-on part of this subsection.